everyone. Today, we are going to demonstrate how to submit a revalidation application request for a provider who is enrolled as an individual using the Provider Enrollment and Management System, or PEMS. An individual provider is a provider who is enrolled with their own individual NPI, is not part of a group, and services can be billed directly under the provider's NPI. Right now, we are at the PEMS dashboard. I would like to start off by pointing out Provider Management here at the top of the page. This is where all your enrollment records are kept. You'll notice that there is a field that gives us our revalidation due date. If a provider is within 180 days of this date, they can submit a revalidation request. In the upper left corner, we see Request. After we submit our request, this will be where we can view the status of that request. To get started, click the three dots on the right and click View. This will open the enrollment record for the provider you are submitting the revalidation for. In the upper right corner, click Edit Enrollment Record to get started. Here we see the option to create a request for a revalidation application. Remember, this will be your only option besides an email maintenance request if you are within 180 days of your revalidation date. To get started, click Create Request. We have now successfully created our revalidation request, and there are a few things that I would like to point out before we continue with our demonstration. In the upper right corner, you will see the request number for your revalidation application. If you need to leave the request and finish later, you can search by the request number in the Request tab on the Provider Management page that we reviewed earlier. Or you can always search by the individual provider's NPI. On the left, we see that there are 12 tabs reflected. For an individual provider application, the Services Provided section and the Attachment section are not necessary to submit the request. However, if you are needing to attach a document, you can utilize the Attachments tab. For today's demo, we are going to skip the Services Provided and Attachments tabs since they are not required. License, certifications, or accreditations are not always required for a provider enrolled as an individual, but for today, we'll review that section. The first tab that we are going to look at is the NPI Taxonomy Information tab. This is going to display information that is going to pull directly from the National Plan and Provider Enumeration System, or NPES. For instance, your taxonomies that are tied to your NPI in NPES, along with your name, NPI number, NPI type, and other information. If information is not displayed here, click Refresh Information in the upper right corner. You will now see your taxonomies that are tied to your NPI within NPES, along with your name, NPI number, NPI type, which will be individual, and other information. This tab should already have a blue check circle, or will reflect one, after you click Refresh Information. Our goal for the revalidation is to obtain blue check circles on all the tabs where information is required to be entered. Now let's navigate to the Provider Information tab. On this tab, we want to complete the information for the enrolling provider. Remember, we do not need to fill out the Services Provided tab, so we are going to skip that one. With the revalidation, we are essentially confirming or updating information that is already tied to your enrollment record. We see here within the Provider Information tab the information that is already associated to the provider. Confirm the Social Security number, the date of birth, the ID type, issue and expiration date. The ID type needs to have a current expiration date in order for the request to submit. If the ID type is expired, PEMS will not allow the revalidation request to be submitted. There is also a field for a primary email address. This email address is used to provide you with enrollment notifications. Once you enter an email address in this field, it may display as unverified in red. To verify an email address, click Verify Email on the right after entering this in. This will generate an email to the address listed. Click the link within the email to verify the address, then go back into PEMS and click Save on the bottom of this tab. The email status will update from unverified to verified. If you are not receiving this email, please make sure to check your spam folder. I would like to mention that if the email address listed is unverified, it will not prevent the request from being submitted, but you will not receive any messages regarding your enrollment request. After clicking Save, you will see the blue check circle listed in the tab, indicating it is completed. The next tab we are going to complete is the Licenses, Certifications, and Accreditations tab. Once we click on this tab, The provider's license should be reflected if the provider type requires one. If the provider's license is expired, you will need to update this information. To do this, click the three dots on the right for the license that needs to be updated and click Open. Verify the issuer and type. Please keep in mind that PEMS is designed to recognize which licenses are valid for the provider type you are enrolling as. If the issuer or licensing board does not match a valid license for that provider type, it will prevent the request from being submitted. Enter the current expiration date, scroll down, and click Save. Complete these steps for any other licenses that need to be updated. If you are wanting to add any other license or certificate to your enrollment record, click the Add Licenses, Certifications, and Accreditations button shown. After updating or adding any licenses, certifications, or accreditations, the blue check circle should be reflected on this tab, indicating that it's completed. Now we can move on to the Disclosures tab. Within the Disclosures tab, these questions may already show as being answered. Scroll down, read and confirm all the questions are answered yes or no. If they are not, please answer these yes or no questions. These questions are about the individual provider who is revalidating. After you have confirmed all questions have been answered, scroll to the very bottom and click Save. A pop-up box will appear if the only question that was answered yes is the "Are you a citizen of the United States?" Click OK, and this tab should now reflect a blue check circle. If you are not a citizen of the United States, answer no to this question. Then select the country of which you are a citizen from the drop-down and click Save. A pop-up box will appear again, and you will need to attach proof of citizenship before this tab will reflect as completed. Click Cancel so you can upload this document. Make a selection from the drop-down box to associate the document to the question that was answered yes. For this example, we will select Non-U.S. Citizen. To upload these documents at the bottom of the page, click here to select Files. Select the type of document you are uploading from the drop-down. Select the document you would like to add and click Open or Save. You will then see the document on the bottom underneath uploaded files after you have added it. Be sure to click Save at the bottom so that the document is saved to the Disclosures tab. You may receive the pop-up again. Repeat these steps for any additional documentation you would like to add, or click OK to complete the Disclosures tab. Scrolling up, we will now see a blue check circle next to the Disclosures tab, indicating that it is completed. Now let's complete the Accounting Billing Information tab. Since we are revalidating, a tax ID number or TIN segment should already be displayed. To complete the information, start by clicking the three dots on the right and select Open. On the left, we see there are three tabs that need to be completed. These are the Accounting Billing, W-9, and EFT tabs. Start in the Accounting Billing tab and enter the first and last name of the billing contact. Update or verify the address that is listed. The address that is reflected here will be the same one that is listed on your W-9. Enter a phone number and answer the question, do you have a third-party biller? A third-party biller is an entity who submits claims on your behalf. Enter their information and click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. If you do not have a third-party biller, answer no to this question and click Save on the bottom. The blue check circle will now be reflected on the Accounting Billing tab. Let us review the W-9 tab. Start by confirming the name that is listed is correct in line 1. If you need to make any updates to this name, key in the updated name. Once you have confirmed the name is listed appropriately, enter a business name, disregarded entity name, or a doing business as name in line 2 if applicable. For line 3, select the appropriate federal tax classification. If other was selected, please key in the type of federal tax classification you are listed as. Complete line 4 if it is applicable for your TIN classification. If not, leave this area blank. In line 5 and 6, confirm that the address listed is the one that is showing on your W-9. If this address needs to be corrected, please navigate back to the Accounting Billing tab and make the correction there. After clicking Save in the Accounting Billing tab, the updated address will now reflect in line 5 and 6 of the W-9 tab. In Part 1, enter the Social Security number or the Employer Identification Number or EIN. If a number is displayed, verify it is accurate. In Part 2 Certification, check the box that indicates I attest this is what appears on my W-9. Underneath Public-Private, select whether you are a private or public entity. A public entity is one who is owned or operated by a city, state, county, or other government agency. Underneath Additional Entity Information and Attachments, select the state of entity's formation from the dropdown. Answer whether you have a 501c3 Internal Revenue Exemption, which is typically for nonprofits. Answer the question if you are a disregarded entity, and enter a charter number if applicable. If PEMS is asking for a charter number, but you do not have one, please enter N8 in this field. Below this, upload the appropriate tax documents. For instance, if you included something in line 2 of the W-9, indicating that you do have a Doing Business As or DBA name, we would need an Assumed Name Certificate, or if you indicated you do have a 501c3 exemption, we would need your IRS exemption letter. Depending on your tax classification, other documents may be needed. Typically, these are the proof of an active franchise tax account status, and your filing document from the Secretary of State. After confirming all the information is completed appropriately and all the attachments are showing, click Save and you should now see the blue check circle within the W-9 tab. Now on to the EFT or Electronic Funds Transfer tab. If you are already participating in EFT, you will still need to complete information in this tab to continue having those reimbursements deposited into your bank account. If you do not wish to participate in EFT, please check the box at the top, indicating I do not wish to participate in the EFT program. After making this selection, click Save on the bottom, and this tab will now reflect a blue check circle. If you made this selection, you will receive paper checks for any services reimbursed through TMHP. If you would like to participate in EFT, start by entering the contact information in case TMHP needs to reach out to someone for any EFT updates. Scroll down to Agent Information and again enter the email address that was listed under the contact information. Scroll down to Retail Pharmacy Information. If PEMS is requiring a pharmacy name and you do not have one, please enter NA in this field. Next, let us go to the Financial Institution Information. Start by entering the name of your bank, account number, routing number, and the type of account you would like the reimbursements deposited into. Then select whether you would like to associate your EFT payments to your TIN or your NPI. If you bill for several NPIs and they all share a TIN, then you can select this option. Or you can choose to receive individual checks for each NPI you are reimbursed under. Next, enter the address of the bank that you use. This address can be their headquarters location or a branch that is closest to you. Under the Submission Information, select Change Enrollment for a revalidation request and select what type of document you are going to upload. To participate in EFT, you either need a voided check or a letter on bank letterhead indicating your routing and accounting number. Please ensure the document that you uploaded matches the information that you keyed within the Financial Institution Information. To add your document, start by click here to select Files. Select the type of document from the drop-down you are going to upload. Then, to add attachments, select the appropriate document from your computer and click Open or Save. The attachment should now be reflected on the bottom of the EFT tab. Click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. You should now see a blue check circle reflected on the EFT tab. If you have decided to participate in EFT, then you will need to sign an EFT agreement within the Agreements tab. We will be sure to cover this when we look at that tab. Next, let us navigate to the Ownership Controlling Interest tab. The yes or no questions should be reflected as answered. If they are not, please answer the yes or no questions, or confirm that they are answered appropriately. After you have confirmed that all the questions have been answered correctly, scroll to the bottom and click Save. Next, you should see a principal already listed. We will need to complete information for each principal that is tied to your enrollment record. If you would like to remove a principal, click the three dots and select Delete. Then enter the relationship end date along with the reason. After clicking OK, the principal will be removed. Before adding a principal, read the definition above this section to see who or what needs to be added as a principal to your enrollment record. To add a principal, click the Add Owner, Creditor, Principal button. Start by entering the Social Security number or the Tax ID number of the principal that is being added. Then click Verify Information. If you are not adding or removing a principal, click the three dots next to each principal to complete information for each one listed. After opening the principal that you are completing information for or have just added, you will see 6 tabs on the left. All 6 tabs need to be completed to successfully revalidate your enrollment record. We will start with the basic information, ensure the principal's information is listed appropriately, and make any necessary updates. For instance, if a driver's license is reflected as expired, please key in a current expiration date and click Save. For a new principal, enter all the fields as indicated with a red asterisk. After clicking Save, navigate to the Addresses tab. If the physical address has not changed, click Verify Address. If the physical address is different, make the appropriate update and then click Verify Address. If the accounting billing address is the same as the physical address, check the box which indicates Same as Physical Address. If it is different, please enter the accounting billing address and then click Verify Address. After doing this, click Save on the bottom to complete the Addresses tab. Next, let us look at the Healthcare Licenses, Certifications and Accreditations tab. Answer the yes or no question, do you have a professional license? If no is answered, click Save to complete this tab. If the principal does have a license, certification, or accreditation, check Yes, and then click the Add Healthcare Licenses, Certifications, or Accreditations button. Key in all the required fields as indicated with a red asterisk, and then click Save on the bottom. This will take you back to the Healthcare Licenses, Certifications, Accreditations tab. Click Save once more on the bottom to complete this tab. If a license is already reflected and the expiration date needs to be updated, click the 3 dots and click Open. Update the expiration date and click Save on the bottom. This will take you back to the Healthcare Licenses, Certifications, Accreditations tab. Click Save once more on the bottom to complete this tab after you have updated the expiration date. Let us now go to the Employment Information tab. Enter or update the title of the principal along with their duties. Underneath your role in the provider organization, make the appropriate choice within the dropdown. Then enter the role effective start date. Below this, answer the yes or no question indicating if you have employment history with a separate provider. If yes is checked, please enter the information for this previous employer. This would be the NPI, provider name, address, and the start date. Then click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. If no is answered for the Do you have employment history with a separate provider question, click Save, and this will complete the tab. For the Relationship Information tab, answer the yes or no question. Do you have a relationship with a separate provider? This is asking if you have any contractual relationships with another provider. For instance, let's say you are an MD who is referring a client to a specialist down the street. If you and this specialist have a contractual agreement that you will be sending clients to them, you will need to answer yes and enter their information after answering this question. Click Save to complete this tab. If you do not have a contractual relationship with another provider, click No, and then Save on the bottom to complete this tab. Within the Disclosures tab, read and answer the yes or no questions for the principal you are confirming or have added. Remember, these questions are specific to the principal, and not the provider who is revalidating. If you need to upload documents for any questions answered yes, please be sure to follow the same steps we looked at when reviewing the Disclosures tab. Click Save after answering all questions and uploading any necessary documents. A blue check circle will be reflected within the Disclosures tab. Click the Back button in the blue header to get back to the Ownership Controlling Interest tab. Be sure to repeat these steps for any other principals listed. Once all the principal's information has been completed, scroll to the very bottom of this tab to add the Authorized Signatory. The Authorized Signatory is a principal that you have designated to electronically sign your agreements. Start by clicking the Add Authorized Signatory button. Then select one of your principals from the drop-down and enter the email address for this principal. The email address entered here will be where the agreements are sent once those are initiated. The Authorized Signatory will need to be the one to sign both the HHSC, Health and Human Services Commission Agreement, and the EFT Agreement if you have decided to participate in this. After adding an authorized signatory, click Save on the bottom to complete the Ownership Controlling Interest tab. A blue check circle should now be reflected on this tab. Now let us navigate to the Programs tab on the left. The program or programs that you are already enrolled in should be checked Yes here. If you wish to add a program, select Yes to that program, and No for any program you do not want to enroll in, and click Save on the bottom. If you click Yes to add a program that was not already reflected in your enrollment record, you will need to add this to one of your practice locations to avoid any deficiencies. After clicking Save, we will see the blue check circle on this tab. Now navigate to the Practice Location Information tab on the left. For individual providers, you will need to confirm each practice location associated with the NPI enrollment record. If multiple locations are reflected, you would need to complete these steps for each practice location. If a provider is enrolled as a performing provider and an individual provider, then the NPI can only be revalidated through the individual record. A group-initiated revalidation request cannot be created for providers who are enrolled as both performing providers and individuals. This means all locations associated to the NPI record would need to be completed within the revalidation request that was created through the individual NPI. Start by clicking the three dots on the right and click Open. We will start with the Basic Information tab. An address will already be listed here. Click Verify Address to confirm your practice location. If the address needs to be updated, enter the updated address and then click Verify Address. Scroll down and enter the phone number for that practice location. The phone number entered here will be displayed on the online provider lookup. After entering the phone number, scroll down and click Save. Scrolling back up, we will see a blue check circle next to the Basic Information tab. Now click on the Programs and Services Participation tab on the left. If multiple programs are reflected, for example acute care fee for service, and children with special healthcare needs, or the CSHCN program, you will need to complete information for all programs. Start by clicking the three dots on the right of the program and select Open. At the top, you will see the program. Underneath this, you will see the question. Do you wish to end your participation? If you would like to disenroll the program for that location, please answer Yes to this question. If the practice location is already disenrolled, the question will read, do you wish to resume participation? Answered Yes to re-enroll that program for that practice location. Scroll down and confirm the information within the program is correct. Certain fields will need to be updated or confirmed. After we updated our license expiration date, we will see that the license reflected here within the program automatically updated as well. Scroll down and confirm the demographics for your clients. Start by selecting the gender limitations and the patient age limitations. For this demo, we will select all for the gender limitations. 0 as the patient start age, 99 as the patient end age, and that we are accepting new patients. Next, confirm that the appropriate tax ID number is associated to the program. Scroll down and confirm the Medicare information. Remember, this is one of the most common deficiencies for individual provider request. Please confirm that your Medicare number and effective date are accurate. If the provider does not participate in Medicare and this question is reflected, select No and check the top box indicating that you will not provide service to Medicare-eligible clients. Then select one of the two options underneath Medicare waiver requests for whichever choice is more applicable. For this example, we select the top choice. After making a selection, in the box below, explain and justify your reason for making a Medicare waiver request. For this example, we will use a Medicare number to associate to our program within the practice location we are revalidating. Scroll down below and answer the yes or no questions. Then to complete the program, scroll down and answer the Healthy Texas Women question, if you will be providing HTW services. Since we did not add an HTW certificate, we will check No for this question. To complete revalidating that program, scroll down and click Save. If this is the only program enrolled for your practice location, you will see a blue check circle in this tab. Please repeat these steps for any additional programs associated to your practice location. The next tab we will complete within the practice location is the Demographics tab. This will be for the practice location you are revalidating. If information is already displayed, confirm that it is accurate. If any updates need to be made, for instance, adding a county or updating your office hours, make those changes here. Additionally, there are checkboxes to indicate if the practice location is physically accessible to people with disabilities. Below this is an area to indicate if the practice has a website. If yes is the answer to this question, you can key in your website. Please use a valid website URL when entering this. Responses to both questions will be required, and information entered here will be reflected within the online provider lookup. If hours are the same for multiple days, click Apply to All and adjust the hours for any days that are different, or check Closed for any days where you are not seeing clients. Then click Save to complete the Demographics tab. Scrolling up, we will now see a blue check circle indicating that the Demographics tab has been completed. Next, let us complete the Managing Employees tab on the left. To add a managing employee, click the Add Managing Employee Association button on the bottom. Then from the drop-down, choose one of the principals you had entered in the Ownership Controlling Interest tab. That is the managing employee for that practice location. Then select the managing employee's role from the drop-down. This will also pull from what you entered within their principal information. Lastly, enter the start date at the location for the managing employee. Once all these fields are completed, click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. You may already see a managing employee listed. If so, click the three dots and select Edit. Confirm the information displayed is accurate, and that a managing employee for the practice location you are completing the revalidation for is reflected. After confirming or updating this information, click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. Now let us complete the Mailing Contact Addresses tab. To complete the Mailing Contact Addresses tab, start by clicking the three dots on the right and selecting Edit. Confirm the address type is listed correctly, along with an accurate mailing address, and click Verify Address after confirming this. Below this, enter the phone number for the person who is handling the enrollment request. This number will not be displayed to the public and is only used when our provider enrollment department needs to contact your organization to provide education on how to correct a deficiency. Then, select the contact type for the person handling the enrollment, along with their email address and their first and last name. Click Save on the bottom to complete this tab. Click the back button in the blue header to return to the main PEMS page. Remember, for an individual provider, attachments are not always required. If you wish to upload any attachments, click this tab, and again click here to select the files, like we reviewed on the Disclosures tab. We will select the file from our computer, and after confirming the document or documents are attached, we can then navigate to the Agreements tab on the left to complete the request. On the Agreements page, you will need to initiate the HHSC Health and Human Services Commission Enrollment Agreement, which will need to be electronically signed before you can submit your request. To begin this process, click the three dots on the right and select Authorized Signatory. Confirm the name of the provider is listed accurately. Enter an email address where the provider can access the HHSC Health and Human Services Commission Enrollment Agreement so that they can e-sign. The HHSC agreement is a contract between the provider and the Health and Human Services Commission. The enrolling provider is not always the person who is completing the application. However, to remain in compliance, the enrolling provider does need to be the one to sign the HHSC Health and Human Services Commission Enrollment Agreement. After entering the email address, click Activate Agreement. Here we see the status of the agreement is sent. To e-sign the agreement, access the email from the email address that was entered. Click the link within your email. This will open an internet window requesting a password to access the document to e-sign. The password for an individual provider is going to be the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. Enter this number and click Continue. Begin by clicking Continue on the bottom of the agreement. Use the yellow flags on the left to navigate to the portion of the agreement that needs to be electronically signed. Where it says Click here to sign, click and type the name exactly like it is shown within the agreement. I would like to point out this is another common deficiency that can be easily avoided. Please do not use abbreviation of names, titles, or nicknames when signing the agreement. If the name that is typed does not match the name of the enrolling provider, a deficiency will be issued. You will need to correct the signature and resubmit the application before that revalidation request is approved. After typing in the provider's name, click Apply. To complete e-signing the HHSC Health and Human Services Commission Agreement, click the blue button that indicates Click to Sign at the bottom. A message will display indicating that you have finished signing the enrollment agreement. Navigate back to the PEMS application by selecting that tab or window in your internet browser. Back on the Agreements page, we are looking for the status to update from Sent to Signed. Once this status is updated, a Submit button will populate at the bottom of the agreement. Sometimes, this can take some time for the agreement to populate as being signed. This page will need to be refreshed for it to update the status. You can do this by clicking Agreements on the left to refresh this page. If it is taking a while for the agreement to reflect as signed, leave the request and then come back in later. Here we see the status is updated from Sent to Signed, and that we have our Submit button reflected on the bottom. Please keep in mind after clicking Submit, you will not be able to make any updates or changes to your revalidation request. PEMS will run a deficiency check before the request can be submitted. If any deficiencies are reflected, you will see a red circle indicating what tab needs to be completed or fixed before the request can be submitted. A message will display indicating the request has been successfully submitted. Click OK, and then click the back button in the blue header to return to the PEMS dashboard. Click Requests in the upper left corner to verify the status of the request you just submitted. You can search for the request by entering the request number in the upper right corner or the NPI of the provider you submitted the request for. As the application moves through its various stages of processing, the status will update. The only time you need to respond is when the status is indicating pending provider response. This means that our provider enrollment department has identified a deficiency within your revalidation request. You will need to open the request by clicking the three dots and navigate to the area where the deficiency was identified. This will be indicated with a red circle. Once you have successfully made the corrections, go back to the Agreements page and click Submit. This will put the application back into a status where provider enrollment will verify the correction has been made and continue processing the request. Once you have completed your revalidation, you will be given a new revalidation date. Typically, these are 5 years. However, due to Texas regulations, the time frame could be shorter than this. Thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully, you have found this video helpful.